who brought you RuPaul's Drag Race and $1 Million Listing. This is World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome, almost live from Hollywood Boulevard. It's the Wow Report.
Oh my God!
I am Tom Campbell, creative something officer.
Creative director, creative.
Something very
the most important person, yes.
Here at World of Wonder. I'm joined this week and every week by the fabulous James St. James.
The wonderful, the marvelous, oh my God, James St. James, yay!
Fenton is away working, making money so we can have a paycheck. And filling his seat is the indescribably wonderful.
Yes.
Oh,
well, let's try to describe
we
how
are
wonderful.
blessed.
Let's just try.
It's Ross Mathews, everybody.
Hi.
Oh my God!
And he is, Ross the intern, historically speaking.
Yes, that's how I began.
America's favorite house guest on Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother.
Celebrity Big Brother.
Celebrity Big Brother.
That's me.
And everything in between. Not to mention a member of the Wow family and the Drag Race family.
Yes.
And so excited. Are you excited for the premiere of season 10?
I mean, are you kidding me? If I still can't believe I get to be on the show. You know what I mean? I'm such a super fan. I used to talk at the TV from my couch. Now the queens can actually hear me. So yes, I'm excited to see it again. I'm excited for the fans to see it.
Yeah.
Well, it's because you filmed it how many months ago? Like 6 months ago, 8 months ago, something like that?
Contractually, I cannot tell you that.
Good
Well,
answer. We were
Thank you. I was gonna say,
you.
how hard is it to sit on it?
What's great is that I have I have 2 answers for you. But no, I forget things right away. You know what I mean?
So it's all fresh again?
It's all fresh again when I watch it. When people say, "Tell me, give me something," I'm like, I really can't.
I feel the same way, but it's so exciting to watch it again.
So exciting because it's like the show when it's put together, it's edge of your seat, like excitement and entertainment. But it's also for me like, oh yeah, that happened.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
It tickles a little bit of your brain.
And it's it's like filming will be like a 14-hour day, and then they'll condense it
It just takes about an hour and a half each day.
It's about 45 minutes.
Yeah, Ru gets his makeup on in 5 minutes, and then we just jump on stage. Listen, we've got to go back to format here. Each week, we count down the top 10 things that make us go, wow! And this week is no different. So starting at number 10,
it's you.
Number 10.
No, number 10's Ross Mathews.
Oh, that's me. No, and that's good.
We started talking about Ross Mathews, now about Ross Mathews.
And really, it's number 1, but we put it at 10 because I'm here. And it's
Are
easier,
you exhausted about talking about your experience in Celebrity Big Brother?
No, never.
Good,
Listen, I
because
love
that's
that.
number 10.
Okay, good. Let me tell you something. I am freshly out of the house. About 12 days now. I spent 29 days inside the Big Brother house, secluded from the outside world with Omarosa.
Right.
And America chose me as their favorite. And I have to tell you, that meant so much to me. It was the weirdest experience ever, but I don't regret a single second.
Yes.
Well, among the many questions I have, how hard is it to poop in a house with there? I mean, that's what I always want to know. Like, do you get like a little constipated?
Has anyone asked you that question?
Poop fright.
It was my number 1 question when they asked me. I got on the phone with the producers. It was my number 1 question was the number 2 question. So I said, I wanted to know all about it. And the truth is, there's one bathroom unless you win HOH. And how about this? There's no lock on the bathroom.
What do you do?
There's just vacant or occupied, a little switch you do. So
with all these people using it, I'm just freaked out.
let me tell you the sentence I never thought I'd say out loud. Can you have me some more toilet paper, Omarosa?
Does she comply?
She 2 plies complies.
What?
And with the sleeping arrangements too. I mean, that's got to be. I need complete silence and darkness, and I can't have like monkeys jumping around and everybody screaming and shouting. And
we brought earplugs, and then I brought my Jackie B
I saw
eye mask.
that, yes.
And so those really got me through because sleep is a currency. Sleep is the only way you can push the fast forward button on life in the house.
Yes.
There's nothing else to do.
yes.
Yeah.
And what is there something? Did anything spiritual happen to you? I mean, I
Yes.
feel like it would be like going to a monkin retreat or something.
Well-
What did you gain spiritually from your time on Celebrity
Well,
Big
I have
Brother?
to tell you, so you're isolated from the outside world, which means no contact for the internet, music, loved ones, phone, anything.
That's got to be like just for people, someone who's as plugged in as you are.
It was
That's
tough
insane.
for the first few days.
Yeah.
And then a little pull the curtain back on production. When you go and do these power of veto competitions or something, they have to isolate you so you don't know everybody's time. So a voice will come over and say, Ross, go in that room, Ari, go in that room, Brandy, go in that room. And then you're stuck in that room waiting for them to call your name for Up to 6.5 hours.
Oh my God.
Staring. You have nothing to read, nothing to look at, nothing to do but stare at a wall.
They don't even give you books or
Nothing.
anything? Nothing.
Well, that's part of the game. And so you start thinking about that thing you said when you were 13 to your mom that was really mean, and you start going into the depth, the deep part of your brain. And it was very cathartic and very spiritual in a way. I feel different afterwards. I feel strong. I feel like, Carrie Strug almost stuck the landing. And she got the gold.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like I stuck the landing. I didn't need my coach to carry me off. That's how I feel mentally.
Good.
And do you bond with people, or do you never want to see them again?
Yes.
He's brilliant. The last thing is, I have to say, I was really touched. I've not really been a Big Brother fan, just haven't committed the time. I did watch Celebrity Big Brother because of you, and we were team Ross Mathews.
all the way.
That being said, Marissa
I was going to
Jarrett-Winokur.
say, I do love her.
We share the same brain. So if you're Team Ross, you're Team Marissa. You're Team Marissa,
And
you're
to
Team
see
Ross.
that you two were the top,
Yeah.
and that the gay guy and his best girlfriend were on a national television show, having outsmarted all the other the professional sport players and all that stuff.
Yeah, the big Broadway girl. I mean, that's a win. That's a gay man
Made me
right
so
there.
happy, and we love Marissa. We probably haven't given her enough love and attention on the Wow Report, but we love her too. And she did, of course, Not Today Bianca with you. I felt like it was a World of Wonder production.
And that was the only time we'd ever met. Marissa and I was in the basement of World of Wonder for 2 seconds as we were shooting that Bianca show.
Yeah.
We met just like, oh hi, I love you forever. Okay, bye. That's the only time we had ever met prior to going to the Big Brother house.
And now you're sisters. You're for the rest of your life.
And you called us the top two, and I love being a top. I love it.
It doesn't happen that often. So, all right, everybody,
I'll
that
take
is
what I can
Ross
get.
Mathews will be staying with us this entire broadcast. It's time to go move on to number 9.
Number 9.
James St. James.
That's me. You guys, did you watch Champions? Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know what this is?
I know what it is. I haven't seen it.
I know what it is, but I haven't seen
Okay,
it.
you guys, it's for those of you who don't know, it's Mindy Kaling produced.
Yes.
Mindy Kaling stars as a mother of a very out 14-year-old boy who is a finger-snapping little monster Broadway belter. I mean, he is just as out as can be. He says his stage name is Miguel Blanchett Almodovar.
Blanchett, that's so funny.
And he comes to New York City. His mother brings him to New York so he can go to a prestigious performing arts school, and he goes to stay with his deadbeat dad who owns a gym, who's played by Anders Holm from Workaholics. He's really cute. And Anders has a brother who's sort of a gym bunny, who's sort of like a dizzy, not quite queen, but he's like really hot, and I don't know, it's sort of interesting. But this kid is absolutely adorable, and he's wonderful. And it's one of those things that the show isn't quite there yet. Like the writing is,
right.
It's sort of like how the Mindy Project got better as it went along for a little bit. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I think that's what this is going to do.
Where's it airing? Where can
It's
I see
on
it?
NBC.
NBC.
Is this the one my friend Fortune's in? Is Fortune
Yes,
in it?
Fortune
Okay,
Feimeister is in it.
Yeah,
she is hysterical. She works at the
Fortune,
gym.
who is also in Not Today Bianca, who is now becoming
God.
it's becoming the Citizen Kane of reality. Okay,
Well,
go
I
on.
always knew it would be.
But to the show's credit, there's never any jokes at the kid's expense about being gay.
Good.
It's always just him. He's accepted even by his sports father and everything like that.
Good.
There's never any. It's always just sort of like the situations that happen around him, and he's always the hero. And it's one of those things that you wish you would have had when we were growing up. It just
There's some noise here on the Hollywood Boulevard. It's
It's
cool.
just Hollywood.
it's on.
Always, yes. So I just wanted to throw that out there that everyone should give the show a chance because it's one of those important shows.
We need to DVR and watch it within 3 days so it counts.
And tweet about it. And I'll tell you this too. You talk about the show you wish you would have had growing up. I am so grateful to television now. And by the way, World of Wonder is a huge reason for that. Wow is. RuPaul's Drag Race, these kids don't even know what it was like to grow up without seeing gay people celebrated on TV.
All I had was Jody on Soap, and he was like one of the worst characters.
Sort of a self-hating gay.
Yes,
But truthfully, I remember growing up in a farm town and not knowing what a gay grown-up person looked like.
Yeah.
I remember thinking what am I going to look like as a grown-up? I couldn't picture it. I had never seen it. And so the fact that now that kids can see this show and Drag
see
Race
them
and so many shows.
and it's not even just an adult. It's just like a kid who might just be like him. He's sort of a mixed race kid.
Yeah.
He's 14 years old, and he is as out and is just as queenie as that you can get, and he's just gorgeous. And
One
fabulous.
question which you'll have to tell me if you can answer, which is it preachy, and how do you think red states will react to it.
Well, that's just it, because it's not preachy at all.
Good.
And like I said, it's never it's never an issue about his gayness. It's always,
just is.
It just is, and he's sort of the driving force of the comedy on the show.
And that's how you do it now. And I hope red states don't react to it. I hope that we're past that.
Yeah.
All right, Champions airs every Thursday at 9:30 on NBC, right after Will and Grace.
Number 8.
I'm here to talk about American Idol.
Ah,
Did you watch?
it's back. Yes, I have. I've seen yes. Clips.
Tom Ross wig.
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 Explain that.
Well,
my
I
God.
didn't know. I had to Google it. I didn't know that it was a thing. Like, do you know what wig is?
I had heard people say it, but I pretended like I knew it, and I did Google it after. So this kid comes on, and he sings Katy Perry, Lionel Richie, and the Luke Bryant are judges.
Yes.
This kid comes on the debut episode.
He's from Arkansas. Yeah.
Farm, town, plus size, whatever
But,
he is, I love
but
him.
a big old girl.
I love him, yes. And he comes on, and like the kind when he gets nervous, he gets a real blush. I love that. And he starts singing, and it's beautiful. And Katy Perry's there, and he just goes, wig. And she goes, did you say wig? Wig. And they just keep saying it back and forth. And Luke Bryan's like, what are you talking about? Now, wig means...
Wait. Katy Perry says, this is not for you. This is our language.
Oh, Katy Perry.
And wig is like, it's so good your hair's blown off. That's what it really means. Just like you say wig, it's just like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. Like,
Wig.
my hair is blown
Is
off.
that what the kid really meant?
Yeah,
That's what that slang term means.
It's like a Tumblr term, I guess.
Yeah. Wig.
Wig.
I'll tell you, American Idol back on TV. It left 2 years ago on
2 years
Fox.
ago.
It's
Now
a
it's back.
bit early, I think. I don't know that we
live in a
need
land of reboots.
But this soon, really, boys.
I always liked American Idol, but I found closure when it left. It was a relationship that had sort of run its course,
Yeah.
and I felt like we broke up. And now I feel like I'm seeing my ex on Facebook, and I have to decide whether to friend them or not. And I'm like, do you know that?
Breaking it down so we
Thank you.
understand.
I'm like, I really am. I don't know how I feel about getting back into this relationship.
I don't think I can.
I've seen clips, and that's where I am right now.
I watched part of Sunday night, and then I watched all of Monday night, just because
you're in.
I'm a reporter,
Of
and I
course.
needed to do my research.
Yeah, your hat says press for a reason.
Thank you. Here's what people are talking about, because I don't know. I'm probably not going to commit the hours and hours it takes to watch American Idol. It was on against The Voice back to both on Monday.
Right,
The Voice won in this world of winning.
And The Voice is probably a better show.
The Voice is all about the celebrities, right? That's what they've really made it about.
judges.
And the judges, the celebrity judges. And American Idol used to always be like old-fashioned about thing. Now they've definitely put Katy Perry out there. Like, they leave the desk a lot more and do wacky things. And Katy Perry is kind of lovely. I think she's a little underrated.
I love Katy Perry. I saw her in concert once. She's good.
But she's also quirky and funny and kind of vulnerable in a way that I like.
But is she good as a judge? And I'm not asking with any angle. I'm asking with pure curiosity because, remember, example, Britney Spears was on X Factor, and we love Britney
How
Spears.
very dare you?
No, but I mean, someone performed, she'd be like, I just like you. Like, it was really good.
It brings up that thing about on The Voice when they had Miley Cyrus come on to be a coach, and Miley Cyrus is in the beginning of her career. Like, who is she to be a coach?
She's been on TV for 25
14-year
Yeah.
veteran.
Yeah,
But like
she's
when
on
you
for
have
38
these
years
people
right
who
now.
are really still sort of new and they're brought on to be.
I think you make a few albums, you do a few tours, and you grow up
How
fast.
cute they are! Oh my God, they're holding hands! I'm like, look how cute they are!
There's
I love them.
Gay people walking by the window behind us on
I'm in
Hollywood
love. I wanna be a
I
throuple
didn't
with them.
bring my taser for James, unfortunately, so he could
They
talk
were cute,
freely.
too, by the
I
way.
know.
But you and we
She
see
does
it,
not a bad job.
we see it sometimes on Drag Race where people come on and it's I just want to say this out loud. Like some people just have where they can really give advice and can do it
Yes.
concisely, and some people just are like, I like you, and it's a different thing.
She's more than I like you. She's a little self-obsessed in a way that I find charming. We'll see how it goes for the season.
Okay.
But she falls in love with contestants. She's single.
I
She's
like
vulnerable. So it's a lot of personal stuff with her, and she gives advice. Lionel Richie is an American treasure. He looks like he's 27. Like he's in good shape,
I love him.
and he actually does break things down for people.
He's sort of the Randy of the group.
He's better than Randy. He's just because it's Lionel fucking Richie, and
okay.
And you have to be in good shape to
and
dance
he
on a
knows how to
ceiling.
write a
Well, he's
song and
the
produce
Simon.
a song, and so there's no Simon. That's it. It's a nice American Idol,
Oh,
Can I
see?
tell you?
and that gets a little
I
tiresome.
think
Redundant.
the best American Idol judge outside of Simon of all time may shock you.
Well, it's not Paula?
Nicki Minaj. I thought she was a phenomenal judge. I thought she was invested. I thought her critiques were smart. Go back and watch that season.
I'm going to.
Wait, can I just? This is sort of tangential. Tangential? Is that the word? Is that
I
a
think
word?
that should be that was the alternative title for this show.
Did you guys know that that's Justin Guarini in the Dr. Pepper commercials? The little guy that comes on he's the heavy metal guy.
Yeah, I saw that.
He's like a little elf, and he comes and he breaks into women's parties. And
I
he's
didn't know
Little
that was
Pepper,
him.
I think is his
That's
name.
totally
But
Justin
I
Guarini.
did see him like on Good Morning America, and he looks
He looks really good. Yeah, I always had a crush on Justin.
course.
If he
Always.
walked by the window here, you'd scream.
I would squeal like a little pig.
It's interesting. I think the other thing people are talking about is that Ryan Seacrest is the host. It's felt like he's outside in the lobby. These are the auditions, and they felt like they cut him out a little bit. So
Well,
he's hugging people, and I don't know. That's just too confusing. But it's,
I'm a little overdosed on Ryan right now.
There's
frankly.
a lot of Ryan. I do
Yeah,
watch him
I'm
with
sorry.
Kelly. He's everywhere. But we'll see. Hopefully Ryan will weather this storm. But and hopefully he's. And I don't know. Work. You can't win in that.
Oh wait,
conversation.
I
wait.
love
Are you
Ryan.
saying they cut him out because of the scandal? That there was some editing that happened?
There were definitely recaps and reviews I've read where it's like it's kind of weird today to see Ryan hugging people, which is
remember-
just so like this whole world we can't look at anything anymore.
Well, it premiered in the height of that. It was right after the Oscar. I mean, right?
Yeah.
And so it was in the height of that, the Ryan storm, which has died down a little
Yes.
bit. I don't know why. I don't know the details up close. I'll tell you, I work with Ryan, and he's always been lovely to me.
Oh, I take back everything I said.
No, it's all
and
right. Do
Kelly
your thing.
and Ryan continues to do really well in the ratings. And ABC reported that even though it got beat by The Voice, it's year for year American Idol is doing better. So these shows tend to grow. We'll see the future of American Idol. We'll see the future.
I only care about the Roseanne reboot. That's all I want. I know she's a Trump supporter, and I know, but I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it.
We're
going
to talk about that after we've watched it because I don't want to speculate. Okay.
I'll come back for that.
We are about to take a little break. Don't go anywhere. But what we do to keep viewers is do a little trivia question. And
wonderful.
Blake, you love to play
I love trivia. I love it. I'm
Blake
good at
has the
it.
question. Let's see
Okay.
what it is, Blake.
I'm not going to Google this.
Don't
okay?
answer it until
Okay.
after the commercial.
Okay. All right.
Who is the best-selling artist from American Idol?
Oh, what a good question.
Oh, I already know.
All right. Well, Ross thinks he knows.
I know.
Oh, he's so mean. You are listening to the Wow Report on Radio Andy Sirius XM. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report.
And we're back. It's the Wow Report on Radio Andy Sirius XM. I am here, Tom Campbell, with James St. James, with Ross Mathews, our extra special guest. Yes. And of course, Blake, our millennial producer.
Hello.
Behind the camera, in charge of trivia. Before we took our break, Blake, you asked?
Who is the best-selling artist from American Idol?
Ross says he knows, so he goes last.
Okay. Well, I think it's either got to be Paula or Lionel, right?
No, I mean
Contestant.
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's take another break and we'll be right back. No.
Well, it's not Justin, but I'm going to say it's Kelly Clarkson, of course.
Good.
All right.
Good guess.
I'm going to say Carrie Underwood.
Oh.
That's a good guess.
What about Bo Bice?
It could be Daughtry. You never know.
Oh.
Except I know it's not Daughtry.
Who is it?
You would think it'd be Kelly Clarkson, but the answer is Carrie Underwood.
Oh.
It is Carrie Underwood, followed by Kelly Clarkson, and then Daughtry.
Yes! I told you I knew. I know. I don't know much, but I know this.
Wow,
we
Wow,
come-
Celebrity Fantasia comes in at number 5.
We love Fantasia.
Fantasia.
Oh my
Who's
God.
number 4?
Number 4 is Clay Aiken.
Oh,
Well, of course.
Clayton.
Clayton.
Yeah.
Can you come back sometime and we'll just do all trivia?
Yeah.
I do play trivia every weekend in Palm Springs.
I follow you on
and
Instagram. I'm very aware.
Thank you very,
thank
and
you very
at
much.
Hello Ross. You follow me at
Yes.
Hello Ross?
Hello, Ross.
Sorry.
We are
plug.
in the middle of counting down the top 10 things this week that made us go, wow. And we've reached the number 7.
Number 7.
On Sunday, the reason that I half watched Idol is because it was up against O.J. Simpson, The Last Confession.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not proud that I watched it, but I did. Why? Because I'm a reporter. Because I do it for you, the fans.
You have to.
This was if you don't know, this was the confession. This was a special that was supposed to come out in 2006 that was to coincide with a book called O.J. If I did it. Judith Regan's book thing.
And it was the downfall of Judith Regan, if I remember. She was drummed out of town.
She was the biggest editor in the world.
On the planet.
And then boom, because of this book.
Yes.
Career. And
So-
I happen to love her, Judith Regan.
I've had some interesting interaction with her, and
love to
she
hear.
is just a fascinating woman. She is a
Fascinating.
bulldozer.
She was going to hire me in 2005. We got to negotiations. I asked for my money. I never heard back. So Judith, if you're listening,
Are you serious?
I've got another job, so it's not going to work out. I had like meals with her. Calls in the middle of the night from her bathtub.
Can I ask for what? What were you
Just
gonna do?
she was having a production company out of L.A.
She approached me about ghost writing a book from Jonah Falcon. Do you remember the guy with the biggest penis in the world?
Oh.
And I was
How
supposed...
could I forget?
He's a huge dick, right?
Yeah, he is a huge dick. Yeah, he's a terrible person. But I knew him from the club days, and so we were. I mean, he used to walk around in these anyway. It's the whole thing. But it was one of those
Yes.
2 a.m. phone calls from her, and like every.
And since this has turned from an OJ, which is
I'm
fine,
so sorry.
no,
Sorry,
into a Judith bashing. No, I'm fine with it.
Judith is not bad.
No,
I'm
no,
into
no.
this because this is the thing that they had Soledad O'Brien in present day leading a panel of a friend of Nicole Simpson, so I didn't know, Judith Regan, and like a
Judith Regan was on the show
now, and Christopher Darden now, and some spousal abuse expert on now. They're trying to clean it up, and they would flash back to the Judith Regan interview with OJ, and this is what I'm going to say, and I am so old and haggard, so I'm saying this with love.
Okay, I know what
you
you're gonna
don't
say.
want to be on a show where you're in close-up and they show you 12 years ago and then today, 12 years ago and then today. Just because that's all I'm saying.
I know.
But
She looked great.
12 years ago.
No, stop it. I'm just saying. I was watching the footage.
Wait,
and
Nicole Brown Simpson looked great 12
No.
years.
Judith Regan,
Oh.
catch up.
She was really done up. Judith was really done up when she did
Gorgeous,
the
yes.
interview years and years ago.
Because she's at that Fox show.
Yeah, well, here's the deal. I didn't watch it because I told myself, Ross, you're better than this. Don't watch it. That being said, I watched every clip of it.
Which counts.
Which completely counts, but I feel like I didn't contribute to the ratings.
Very
you
good.
know?
And they weren't good ratings. It didn't do well. I think supposedly it was a fuck you from Fox to say we're going to try to counter program the premiere of American Idol with
Which
this
is
old
a
Fox interview.
Smart move on
Whatever.
their part.
I will just say there's the
wasn't there
6 minutes uninterrupted where he's supposed to be hypothetically telling how he would have murdered her, and it turns very quickly into first person. Like I took a knife from Charlie, and then she fell down and I cut them, and then I blacked out, and then there was blood everywhere.
And then he says and I remember this happened, and I
Yes.
remember this happened. It was.
But I feel dirty. I feel skeevy just listening to this
And,
right
and
now.
that's fine. I just want to say, well, then I won't go on, and I'll just say, truly, that the well of O.J. Simpson stories, part of it's because we've had this amazing documentary on ESPN. We had the amazing Ryan Murphy series. I thought, maybe this is one more piece of and it's like, nope.
No.
The O.J. well is dry. Let's move on. Let's not glorify this any longer.
No, and I'm starting to think he might have done it.
Call page 6. Ross Mathews has broken the scandal.
I don't know. I think I solved the case. I think it might have been him.
All right. Let's move on to number 6, James.
Number 6.
Number 6. This is something that we spoke about last year when it was first announced, and I was really excited about it. It is, okay, you guys, it's the Snagglepuss Exit Stage Left comic book, Snagglepuss.
What am I looking at? You're pulling this out, and
Okay.
I'm looking at it's a comic book.
starring Snagglepuss.
Remember Snagglepuss from the
Right.
cartoons?
Now, hold on
Exit
with it.
stage left.
Okay.
Yes.
Snagglepuss.
And you said there were no gay role models.
You're right. I'm sorry.
No, that's just it, because we were talking about that. Snagglepuss meant so much to me when I was a little gay boy because he was a flamboyant gay character. He was one of the first gay characters that I remember. He was like Paul Lynde or Charles Nelson Riley. He
Right.
was one of those flamboyant characters that everybody loved and everybody knew he was gay, and I felt like I related to him, and I really
Well, we knew he was gayish, but we weren't allowed to know he was gay.
Well,
We didn't have a
exactly.
word for it.
Who voiced Snagglepuss?
It felt like a Paul Lynde or something. We'll have to check it out in a minute.
And there should be a reboot movie, right?
No, but hold on.
Okay, go, let me shut up. Go.
Okay,
You go.
Okay, so this is a reboot of the Snagglepuss legend, where he is now a Tennessee Williams-like playwright in 1952, and it opens with him and his wife going to the. Hold on.
Okay. I wanted to see see it. Sorry.
It's the last night of one of his plays. He goes with his wife, and afterwards his wife says, I know, and leaves him and goes home. And he goes to the Stonewall and hooks up with his boyfriend, who's a Cuban dissident who's just escaped from Cuba. The TV is on, and Lillian Hellman is refusing to testify before the House of Un-American Activities. Okay,
is this real in the comic?
I'm telling you, this is real. So then later he goes the next day he meets up with Dorothy Parker at the Algonquin, and she's a washed up alcoholic, and he's trying to get her a job on this new thing called television, and she's like, it's a wasteland and I'll have nothing to do with it. And then he goes to a party at Peggy Guggenheim's, and Peggy Guggenheim is wearing that Schiaparelli shoe hat which came out that year. I mean, this is all like very 1952. And so then later he meets up with Lillian, and they're talking about the state of the world and where the world is going and all the all the blah blah blah. And then in the third one, the second one,
how many comics do you have?
It's only three issues so far.
Okay.
He meets up with Huckleberry Hound, who is this William Faulkner-esque character from the South, and he's a novelist, and they go over to Arthur Miller's, and he's having his affair with Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe is there. Joe DiMaggio is coming to beat up Arthur Miller. It's just absolutely fascinating.
Would it be fair to say, James?
They're taking it. It's done very seriously.
God, he's hot. Look.
Would it be fair to say that Snagglepuss is your Black Panther?
He's my yes.
This is a whole lore, a whole legend. Finally, you can see yourself in the pages.
Yes. It's absolutely brilliant the way they're.
You have to see Snagglepuss's
Ross,
hot body
can't
too.
you
I'm
get
sorry.
the rights or something and produce? Oh,
That's right.
Yeah,
they turned him into like a stud. He was always like a little balls, which I'm into. It's fine. But look, he's like hot.
for our YouTube viewers, take a look.
And why are the pages stuck together?
There's Marilyn Monroe right there, and Arthur Miller, and it's just.
I wonder who's reading this other than you.
I think I'm the only one who knows about it.
Oh my God!
The Stonewall right here.
That's the Stonewall. Yes.
Can I ask you a super stupid question?
Yeah.
Where do you get DC comic books today? Do you get them online? Or?
Well, that's just it. See, there's Golden Apple Comics, which is sort of by me, and there's a really cute boy who works there. So I always
go to a comic book store.
I go to a comic book store because this really cute boy, Alex. Hi, Alex. Works there, and he always tells me like what the gay comics are and what's happening. There's like Lumberjills,
Is
which
Alex
is
gay?
Yes.
Is Alex single?
No, I think he just had a bad breakup.
Perfect timing.
Snagglepuss him.
No, but he's always just sort of keeping me, in with the kids and what's happening in the comic book world and
That's
everything
wonderful.
like that. So I have him to thank for turning me on to Snagglepuss. Exit stage left, the Snagglepuss Chronicles.
All right, the Snagglepuss Chronicles are available wherever fine comic books are sold. I love that. All right, we're moving on to number 5.
Number 5.
Oh, okay.
Here we go.
I tweeted recently, I'm just going to say it, I still watch Homeland. It is freaking great. And I understand why people dropped off the show. Do you remember it premiered and it won the Emmy for Best Drama and
Best Actress.
And Best Actress. And right, okay. And Best Actor, too. He won the first year. Yeah, the redhead guy who, spoiler alert, dies. And so the show, people are like, oh, they dropped off.
I thought it was off the air.
It's been
I thought it was
15
canceled.
years.
I
It's
thought
been
it was
25
done.
years.
It's almost a reboot.
It is back. Well, it's not. It's back. It never left.
I know.
It's back. But I understand there've been seasons that are stronger than others.
Yep.
This season is so strong because the show acts like a mirror to what's going on in its own way, But right now there's like this alt-right Alex Jones kind of guy who gets this following and a standoff with the FBI and a president who we don't really know what her motivations are.
Wait, but this is sort of like if Hillary had won in the right's reaction and how they would have treated her is what I'm sort of
but it's all like it's Hillary meets Trump. It's mirrored. It doesn't exactly replicate what's going on in the world, but the uneasiness and the unrest that's happening in the world, it replicates. I think you should give it another shot. It's the show you shouldn't have stopped watching.
Can I ask a sad question? What if you haven't watched it in years and years and years? Could you pick up?
Well, luckily for you, there's the internet.
What?
With all you can just watch. I recommend
Wikipedia.
I recommend you go back to where you left off and keep watching.
All right. You
It is
can't pick up.
It is that good, I think.
But I have maybe American Idol to watch now. I know there's a lot to
understand.
do. Although
She
James
does
does it all, and he reads comic books.
And I do Days of Our Lives and General Hospital every night.
And you're in a serious relationship with Alex at the comic book store. I don't know how you do it all. You Snagglepuss him. And go back and watch that one, okay? And I say this as somebody who understands we all don't have a lot of time.
Yep.
It's worth it.
I started my career at HBO, and Showtime was always our rival and an inferior rival. So part of me just doesn't like Showtime.
Still snobby.
Like I still get Colgate,
You're
not
still a
Crest.
snob.
It doesn't make any sense. I'm just sharing.
Showtime is cool. I like their programming at Showtime. I think they do interesting things, and I
sure
think
do.
there's less pressure on them. So like they. By the way, I'm looking at helicopters outside the window. I think those are for Trump.
Oh,
Yeah.
black helicopters.
Yeah,
That's never
crazy.
a good sign.
Well, distracted.
Easy.
Distracted and
left
queasy.
yesterday,
Well,
so
I don't know what's
that's-
going on then. But I'll just say this. I forget what I was saying.
You were just saying that Showtime has less pressure, that they do adventurous programming.
I really like Showtime. I'm not saying that's why I get a show on Showtime. I'm just saying, check out Showtime.
Why about Shameless? I love Shameless.
Smilf
You've
is
watched a lot of
interesting.
Shameless.
You know what I mean? Rosie does a great job on that show.
All right.
Okay.
So watch Homeland if you haven't. It's on Showtime is it still Sundays?
Yes,
but are
it
there any
is.
cute boys in it? I always need a hook to get in. I always need to fall in love with someone.
No, there's no cute boys really, except Mandy Patinkin, who I just love.
Sure.
But also, can I just throw one thing out to the producers and writers?
Yep.
Just let her take her medicine. I'm sick of her. It's always like, I don't know if I want to take my medicine, and I'm sick of that storyline. So can we? And now her medicine doesn't work on her anymore. So let's just find her a new medication and move on quickly.
And maybe get a patch, something easy that she can just put on and forget about.
a shot once a month, once every 6 months.
All right, Homeland is on Showtime on Sundays at 9 p.m. or it's on the Showtime app, or you can illegally download it probably. I'm just kidding. We've come to that point where we have to take a little tiny, word from our sponsors break. But Blake, again, our millennial producer, has produced the most amazing trivia question for Ross, our special guest.
Go.
I did. What actor was supposed to direct the first episode of Homeland?
What? Say this again.
What actor was supposed to direct the first episode, the pilot of Homeland?
Okay, I'm taking a guess.
No,
I understand.
Not
I know.
yet.
I'm just saying, in my head, I have one. I'm going to think about it during the break.
We're going to hit Ross during the commercial break, and we'll be back. You're listening to the Wow Report on Sirius.
No, you can't. You can't Google it.
I'm not. I'm looking at an email. Sorry.
Just come back. Thank you.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report.
We're back. It's the Wow Report on Radio Andy SiriusXM. It's Tom Campbell. I am here with James St. James and our extra special co-host, Ross Mathews. Yay, we're getting like legit up in here, right? Am I right?
Oh, this is legit now.
Yes, totally.
Sorry.
A-list as we've come.
And a big hello and love to Fenton, who is away working, but will be back next week. Blake.
Before the break, I asked what actor was supposed to direct the pilot episode of Homeland. He didn't actually, but he was supposed to.
And I just want to point out that this is Ross's new favorite show, and he knows everything about everything in pop culture.
Stop
so the
it.
pressure is on Ross.
Okay, so I don't know the answer, but I have really thought about it, and I thought about, okay, the show is political. What sort of actor is political? What sort of actor has directed in the past? I'm going to throw out a guess and use the name I'm going to say, and I don't know if I'm right. I'm just deducing here. George Clooney.
Oh.
Okay, would that make sense?
That would. I'm going to say they were going to give it to Mandy Patinkin. But it would not.
Patinkin.
Patinkin. Potemkin is a battleship.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Scott Baio.
Oh, wonderful.
It was actually Ben Affleck.
Oh! Basically George Clooney.
It is. It's really close.
Really
You were the
close.
closest.
Thank you.
You were the closest.
Thank
He
you.
had
Why
to-
didn't he?
He had to back out because Jennifer Garner and they had an agreement where one would stay home with the kids while the other worked.
And so I wonder what great movie she did
Right.
instead of that. Oh, my goodness.
Too many to name.
Yes, well, there's some coming up. All right, let's move on as we count down the top 10 things that make us go, wow. We've reached number 4.
Number 4.
I want to talk about, we woke up to some sad news this week that Stephen Hawking, the amazing scientist, an amazing person, passed away. Now, I would lie to you if I said I understand all the scientific stuff that Stephen Hawking came up with.
Well, luckily I'm here.
And that's what we brought Professor Ross Mathews from the cosmetology. I, of course, know more about him from his movie, The Theory of Everything, the movie about him.
Right.
Which, I don't remember facts very well at my age, but I remember feelings. And I remember how much I loved, I'm going to cry, that movie because of his disability, because of his wife standing beside him, about their love growing as this trunk of a tree. And then at some point, 25, 30 years in their marriage, they both found someone else.
Yeah. I didn't see that coming when I was watching the movie. Because I kind of felt like this is A Beautiful Mind too. You know what I mean? The same sort of thing. It wasn't.
Well, he was sort of a dick in real life. He really did. He fucked over his wife. He went with the nurse, didn't he? He ended up with the woman who changed him.
And according to the movie, which I'm sure is a little bit enhanced, and she fell in love with someone else too.
Good for her.
And
he was hot in the movie.
I'll tell you something. I sort of have a crush on Stephen Hawking anyway. I would do Stephen Hawking.
Well,
not today, but I would have done him 10 days ago.
And I just thought that it was beautiful because, and again, I live alone with cats, but the fact that someone can love each other, and there was a permission because of his genius and his ability, that there was a reason for them to stay together and help each other and not to abandon each other when they found someone else. Somehow, like, their love was this trunk, and then the more love branched off of it. And it makes me think, it's so weird, it makes me think of Randy and Fenton. Because Randy and Fenton, I've told this to them, but like they were a couple. They
for
created
25
this business.
30, 25
they had all
years.
this love, and now why they have broken up, not professionally, but personally, they've both found other people. They've all created families. It's like the love continues to grow, and Randy and Fenton are still very connected.
Yeah.
And it just gives me hope because so many friends are getting divorced. I'm of the age where people get divorced and it gets so ugly.
I do think that might have been a bit of a Hollywood myth-building exercise because I don't think in real life that they're quite as close as they are portrayed in the movie.
For so little in this world, James.
No, but I think that was just like
just
a screenwriting folly.
Just a strand like a spider web of hope, and you just cut it in half. Thank you.
I hate to interrupt your black heart here, but I'm thinking, I'm in a relationship now going on 10 years. And so you talk about relationships are really tough. And I'm going to give you CPR in a second.
Excuse me.
But I just think I would like to hope that after all 25, 30, 50 years with Salvador, that he would let me go be with the hot nurse. If you know what I'm saying?
That's beautiful.
And I think that is beautiful. If you're lucky enough to find a hot nurse who'll have sex with you, your partner should let you go.
Yeah. Blake, did you get the hooker that we asked about? No, I'm just going to share a couple of quotes because Fenton posted a whole bunch of them.
The one quote, really, it makes me cry. There's a couple of them that I just love. Is this the monkey one? I love that.
I'll start. One thing is, however difficult life may seem, there's always something you can do and succeed at. It matters that you don't just give up, which I think is pretty powerful considering his life and his condition.
Yeah, these are
he was
Stephen
supposed to be dead at
Hawking's
21,
quotes,
and he's died at 76.
Wow.
You like the monkey one. Let me find the monkey one.
About how we're just a speck on this planet. We're just
we are just an advanced breed of monkeys on a minor planet for a very average star, but we can understand the universe. That makes us something very special. And in the Big Bang Theory,
it's true because I mean we're nothing special, and yet we are the most special creatures on the planet. It's just fascinating.
And you're probably the most special of all of us, right? Don't you
Yes.
think, like,
Wait a minute.
How are they making people like James anymore? No.
Yeah, no.
Are you saying
They
I'm
stop.
special?
Yes, I am.
Is that what this you're incinerating here?
I also love this one's a short one, but life would be tragic if it weren't funny.
That's
Great.
Like,
That's the best one.
Isn't that really good?
That's the best one, yeah.
But there's more. You can go online. You probably already have to read quotes from Stephen Hawking and
it's just one of those things that we lived in the time of greatness for a moment there, and when also like who's the Apple guy? What was his name?
Steve Jobs.
Yes, Steve Jobs. We lived in this time when we had these wonderful people, and they're going. And we have Elon Musk still. We have certain people, but like just the geniuses and the great people were pushing forward. Society and pushing forward technology, and I just worry that we're all moving into an idiocracy right now.
No. Don't live life looking in the rearview mirror. Be on the edge of your seat for the geniuses to come because they exist. All right.
Okay.
He ruined my hope, so I hope your hope is ruined as well. The other thing people are talking about is that Hawking was born on the 300th anniversary of Galileo's birth, and he died on the birth of Einstein, the same date. So maybe there is some reason in the world.
That is interesting.
All right, let's move on to number 3.
Number 3.
I'm seeding my my topic.
Your seat or just your topic?
And, I'm sharing it with Blake because
Blake, come over.
Yeah, come.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my, production value.
Blake,
Production value.
don't trip. Okay, Blake's walking over.
Okay.
I love this. Now, do you do this often where you'll just sort of give your...
This is new.
This is your first...
Fenton's gone, so
I
we're just
never
breaking
give
all
up
the
my
rules.
time.
We're
I'm
just breaking all
very
the rules.
generous.
The audience loves this.
Oh
when you
my
sort
God,
of,
it's
you
so
know,
behind the
shake
scenes.
up the format.
And I'll just set it up by saying that there is a movie coming out today that I want to see so bad, and I was so angry that I wasn't going to see it.
I know what you're going to say.
And Blake has already seen it because somehow he's very inside Hollywood here. He knows what's going on. And it's the movie Love, Simon. Blake, tell us all about it.
Tell us everything.
I loved Love, Simon. It is like
Tell us what it's about.
well, it's about a gay boy who
Can you believe we're talking about a movie about a gay boy?
Well, this is a stretch.
but the big thing is this is the first big major studio movie for gay teens.
Wow.
right. It's about you
Right.
know him growing up and him being gay and like coming out and telling his friends and his family, and I feel like it's something we need right now.
And it also stars Jennifer Garner, who we were just making
we were just
disparaging.
She was doing.
She's been making this
shelf for a long
amazing
time.
movie.
And you guys, I am not a big fan of Jennifer Garner, but I loved her in this movie.
Good.
I love
And
Jennifer.
you were
There's nothing not to
also-
love about Jennifer Garner.
Hello.
You were also
Juno.
not a big fan of like sort of treacle and corny and
Right.
sappy movies,
But
and you cried in this.
I cried whenever Jennifer Garner's part, there was a part where she asked, "Hey mom, did you know?" And she was like, "I didn't know, but I knew that there was something that you were fighting." And I was just like,
Every gay boy has that moment where you come out to your parents, which is the hardest thing, or at least in my generation.
Yeah.
Did you come out to your parents?
Yes.
What was the story?
Well, I really struggled, and I remember thinking like, well, I'm risking losing the love of my parents, but like to speak my own truth, I have to risk that. So I said, "Mom, I'm gay," and she goes, "Yeah, I know. Didn't you already tell me?" And I was like, "No, this is my story. I would know if I told you." But I was one of the very, very lucky ones. And
How old were you?
I was 2.
Cut to that picture. You're like,
in your
I was,
diapers.
I don't remember exactly, but
Teens?
I was teens. But I was one of the very, very lucky ones. And then I understand that is I'm in the minority. But this movie is going to help so many young kids, and hopefully it also helps a lot of parents who can
you
figure
don't
out
know
to
what
do.
to do. That it's not in their experience,
There's
right?
no rule book. There's no blueprint on how to do it. So I hope families see it together, and I think it's a universal
I
movie.
will.
It sounds
Yeah,
like.
I loved this movie, and I think that it is time for a gay teen movie. I think it should have been Freak Show.
Oh well, here we go. Well, because I'm allowed. I'm going to be a little bitter, and I'm going to be the counterpoint to.
Yes.
This
to-
is an
to-
unusual role for you, James, but I'm open to it.
I
Let's
do
try
want to
something
say,
different.
the thing is, and the pushback from me a little bit is that I get that we need a studio movie, a gay movie for everybody, blah, blah, blah. But he's just a very normal looking white boy. The story is, it's a little.
But maybe that's what people need to just,
And I get that after we tell this story about a very good looking white boy, very normal, blah, 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 then we can jump off into other sections of gay society. One of the people that, Rich Zuzwiak, who was formerly with Gawker and he's with Jezebel, one of my favorites.
Who's also pretty hot.
He's really hot, yeah. But he did he was talking about it, and he said that there's a character named Ethan in it who's an African American, and he's a little more femme, and he's sort of queenie, and everything.
Yes.
And that perhaps that from a story point of view, that might be the more interesting way to go as a main character.
Right.
And they sort of like short shifted the idea that you have this Nick Robinson who's just a straight boy who's acting straight. He's very. It just sort of feels like we're cheating out.
The actor is straight?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's very straight.
Well-
And you watch him in interviews, and he's one of the most boring people on the planet. He's just a very white bread, good-looking boy who just.
I'm glad you brought that up. It's really important to say out loud, and I think you're just doing this.
I
But
just want
It's
diversity.
also important to appreciate the steps toward progress that are being made.
It's baby steps.
Yes.
And without this,
Will and Grace. Will was very straight, and Jack was a super homo.
Right.
And that's the character that caught on. Can I just say, it makes me, and this is blowing my own horn, but I don't mean to, but it makes me so proud to be part of RuPaul's Drag Race, which is a show with sissy boys and fluid people and trans people, and
that's what I'm saying. I think that as a society, RuPaul's Drag Race has primed the pump, and we're ready for it. We're
big.
ready for these other stories to be told, other than just a normal look, a normal boy.
Well,
And
let's hope this is the first of many.
I say go see Love, Simon, but also go see Freak Show. It's on video on demand.
It's true. It's
Love
true.
you, I love
we
you.
should do both. And I do think it's important to go out and support a studio movie about gay people so they'll make more.
Yes,
I do.
that's why you go see it. But also look up those other stories that are being told, and maybe they'll do a spin-off of this Ethan character, like Marvel. You know what I mean?
But
and then like
Snagglepuss.
But I will say,
Snagglepuss.
hold on, that Greg Berlanti, who is the producer of the show,
does
is
amazing stuff.
is an amazing guy, really wonderful. He's the guy who does like the Flash and Green Arrow.
All of your favorite
and,
shows.
and they're all very homoerotic. You know, I mean, all of those shows. He's somebody who really sort of is pushing the envelope, and I really love him.
What's
and
up
he's
with
married to Robbie Rogers, who's
Yeah.
my other husband. I love him so much. Oh my God.
All right.
So.
All right, thank you very much. That's Love Simon playing in a theater near you. Go see it. Let's move on to number 2.
Number 2.
Oh.
Can we get the weather report, please?
Oh, yeah. There's a Stormy moving in. Okay, yeah. So Stormy Daniels.
She's not going away.
She's not. This storm is staying put for a little bit. And usually, ironically, she's the one making it rain because she is the porn star who allegedly had an affair with the president, who's denying it, even though his lawyer paid her $130,000.
Not to talk about the
Not to
affair
talk
she
about
had
it,
with
the president 6 days before the election. And there are some issues with this going on because I'm sort of torn because I love the drama of it. I would love to see him taken down, of course. It was 6 days before the election, like I said, when she was paid this. So there's some sort of finance campaign laws.
Right, but the
that
law
might
that's
be-
been broken. When we
The
used to have laws.
lawyer says that he paid it out of his own money, which
pocket.
no lawyer has ever done in the history of
time.
yeah, exactly.
And why did it benefit him to do that? It doesn't make any. And why pay her if there was no affair, right?
Now, hold on. I do know another porn star. I can't say her name, but she has the Wall Street Journal and New York Times parked out of her house right now because she had an affair with Trump, too.
So did she sign a
She
non-disclosure
did.
agreement?
She did.
And she got paid?
Yes.
Did Trump or his lawyer sign that one? Because Stormy Daniels...
she's refusing to talk right now because she's terrified for her life. She thinks the CIA is going to assassinate her. So.
Well, let's hope that doesn't happen. But I'm torn because I want all the details. I want his presidency and his to be damaged. I want his base to question, even though they probably won't, but maybe some of them will.
They're going to be like, fuck a porn star. They love it.
But some of them, in just a few, you saw how close it was. Just a few. I mean, let's look at what happened in Pennsylvania this week. It just takes a few.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
But I also don't want the attention of the media to be off of Russia, to be
yes,
off of collusion, to be off
there
of...
are bigger stories out there than a porn star that he fucked 10 years ago.
But I also think it's important. And do you remember when this story came out and it was like it was a Tuesday, a random Tuesday, and they said, this person was arrested, this person pressed charges from the campaign. Oh, by the way, a porn star says she had an affair with Trump. If this would have been a story during the 8 years of Obama, it would have taken on his presidency. And now it's just another story. And I find it fascinating.
By the same token, though, if you watch CNN and it is wall-to-wall 24-hour coverage about Stormy Daniels, and you're right, there are other stories that are going to take him down.
Obstruction
and
of justice, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think
I'm watching a lot of CNN. I'm even listening to it in my car. It's kind of
Yes,
driving me crazy.
I know, me too.
But they're doing a good job of reporting a lot of stuff. By the way, I'll talk about that later. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, the other thing I want to say is if you're not following Stormy Daniels on Twitter, you aren't using Twitter.
I don't even.
She is so funny, and she hits back. These people write her the worst things, and they spell everything wrong. And so she calls them out. She retweets it, and she is so funny. I think it's at Stormy Daniels.
Yeah,
it is. It's at Stormy Daniels.
Stormy Daniels. Yeah. Her Twitter. I should be armed with tweets to sort of give you examples, but I didn't do any research.
That's okay.
I just read it.
This is very loosey-goosey here.
Okay, good.
Stormy Daniels, by the way, we've said this before and we'll say it again. The fact that she's a porn star is no sweat off my back.
Oh, who cares?
That's
Who
a totally
cares?
legitimate.
I love
That's
it.
a totally legitimate profession.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, porn stars, for creating
No, we
content
do not shame sex workers
No.
here.
At all.
My goodness.
So that's not,
I didn't say anything like that,
I'm
right?
not even,
No.
no.
Okay,
and
good.
I'm not even shaming Trump for having. That's all their business.
I don't
It's
either.
the lies.
It's
the
the lies.
cover up.
Yes.
And
It's the self-righteousness.
Yeah, the hypocrisy of I'm better than that. I'm better than Bill Clinton. And how dare Hillary stand by her man.
Yes.
Yep.
All of that stuff just drives me bananas.
All right.
And Melania, I'm sorry, knows 7 different languages. I hope she called Donald out in all 7
She
languages.
shouldn't
Go
even
to
know
hell.
one.
That's for another time. We have to take a little break. When we come back, it's the number one thing that made us go wow, plus the Resistor of the week. You are listening to the Wow Report on Radio Andy Sirius XM. Don't go away.
You're listening to World of Wonders Wow Report. Things that make us go wow.
Welcome back. This is the Wow Report on Radio Andy Sirius XM. It's Tom Campbell. Fenton Bailey is away, but I'm here with James St. James, and we are so excited. We're here with Ross Mathews. Hello! And, of course, Blake behind the microphone.
Hi.
We have reached that amazing time in our show when it's almost over. But the number one thing that made us go wow this week. Before we get to that, do you want to read a Stormy Daniels?
Well, quickly, I had mentioned Stormy Daniels' tweets, and how funny they were. Yeah. And so I found a couple just briefly. Someone called her a skank, but they spelled it S-C-A-N-K. And so she just wrote back, it's S-K-A-N-K. And then someone else tweeted her skanky whore. And she goes, yes, according to my business card. That is what it is. So she's just fighting back and really owning who she is and what she is. And she's not afraid of anything. So I love Stormy Daniels.
Stormy Daniels, come and be on the Wow Report.
Yes.
All right. So number one.
Let's give her a show.
Yes, I love it.
A weather report.
Okay, the card for number one is going to keep coming up. Number one.
Yes.
Number one.
Number one are the brave, brilliant students across this nation, initiated by the kids at the Parkland High.
I love that. I love David Hogg, and I love Emma Gonzalez. I love that. I follow them all. I love them to death.
Who, in the 1 month anniversary of the Parkland shooting, have created a national phenomenon, the 17-minute school walkout. They were in D.C.
Did you guys see the
makes me all wanna cry.
7,000 shoes that they put in front of the Capitol building?
7,000 pairs of shoes.
7,000 pairs of shoes to represent the 14,000 kids that have died in school shootings. And it just guts you. It just looking at it, it's like when the first time you saw the quilt.
And you know what really gets to me is there are these high school kids who were born, think about it, in the year 2000 probably, right? Because it's 2018 now. I did the math. And they're out there and they're not just speaking eloquently and not just speaking from experience and not just speaking from a place of having grown up with nothing but school shootings their entire life. They're also speaking from the point of view of kids who are 17 and a half and about to turn 18. And they're saying, we're going to vote. Mm-hmm. We're going to vote.
That's
and if
the
you're
gorgeous thing.
And if you're not protecting us and trying to save our lives, you're not going to get our vote. And let me tell you something. That's going to freak the fuck out of these people who are siding with the NRA. The one way you can get to them is with money, and even more powerful than money is your vote.
Yeah.
And so it's going to affect change. And this shooting happened, not to make it about me, but I just want to tell you, it happened when I was in the Big Brother house. And when I came out of the house and I asked the producer to tell me something, what happened in the world, he said, it was the first thing he told me. There was a horrible shooting. But then he said, but the kids are amazing and they're changing the world. It's the first thing I heard when I got out of the house.
I really want Emma Gonzalez to run for president. I really think that she's the one to watch. I think she's really going to change the world.
And to sound like the old fogey, but about speaking of innocence lost, I was thinking when I was watching the protests and so moved by it, and it felt like We Are the World. It felt like the entire country was coast to coast filled with students protesting. Was when I was in high school, we had student government and Model UN, where we pretended that we were doing governmental things, where we had to just pretend, it was like mock government. And now kids are actually changing the motherfucking world. We were just pretending we were in the you know what I mean? We were pretending we were Arabs from when we were Model UN, and we dress up and learn about the food and the flag, and it's like it was all pretend and it was innocent and we were protected. And now kids are having to fight for their life.
I do want to just say that it's a little dispiriting sometimes to see the Republican pushback on this and to see the NRA accusing these kids of being actors and all that.
Doing their best to tear them down.
Tear it down. And I want these kids to be protected and safe, and I love them so much. And it makes Republicans.
I want to say two things too, or one quick thing. We sometimes we're worried about this generation coming up because we see late night jokes, we see interview, and they don't know who Condoleezza Rice, they don't know who anybody is. These kids are showing that we're going to be okay. We are going to be okay. Take a deep breath. We're going to be okay.
It does give me hope to see how eloquent they are and how together they are, and just
they are an inspiration, and they are resistors for sure. But we also have a very special Resistor of the Week. James?
Well, I don't know if you guys watched the 60 Minutes interview with Betsy DeVos.
Who cares?
Who cares? What a horrible woman she is. And just to see Lesley Stahl go in on her and the withering look she gave her and just the raised eyebrow and the way she just hammered her on her lack of knowledge and just sort of inadequacy for the job. It was just...
And my favorite thing is that Betsy had been coached to smile. So every time she was being knocked to the wall by Lesley, who was only using logic. No, she wasn't trashing her or being disrespectful or raising her voice. She was just countering her with logic.
She's a classy dame.
Yes.
I love
awesome.
Lesley Stahl.
Listen, I don't want to say Betsy DeVos is a horrible person. I don't know if she is.
No, she is.
But I don't think she's kind of not smart enough for the job she's been giving. And I say that as somebody who is not the smartest person in the world. And if I were given that job, I would come across just like Betsy DeVos. I don't know. Should I go see that school?
No, but
maybe I should. So I don't know if she's a horrible person. I don't think she's smart enough for her job.
No, but there's a difference between being like ignorant and being willfully ignorant. And she is actively working to undermine the educational system. She's actually trying to defund public schools. She's never been
that's
to
horrible. But maybe she's a good mother.
But
She's trying to find
she's
a silver
a billionaire.
lining.
She's a billionaire who married into her money and has never gone to a public school. Who is now in charge of public schools. She has no idea what she is supposed to be doing, and she's actively working to make life harder for kids by making billionaires.
She's a horrible person. You did it.
You did it.
You did
I
it.
want to tell you that Betsy DeVos' interview on 60 Minutes reminds me of those nightmares you have when you're in a play and you don't know the lines. It's just like you're over, like, I don't know my I'm naked in front of people. I have a test and I didn't study. Anyway, we love you, Lesley Stahl. For bringing that to
wonderful
amazing. I want her to be my mom.
All right, we have to go. I just want to remind everyone, next week on the Wow Report on Radio Andy and also on YouTube, we're having a very, very special episode because right behind us, you can't see, but literally right behind us on Hollywood Boulevard, on the Walk of Fame, RuPaul is getting a star on the Walk of Fame.
Well deserved.
And there's going to be celebrities that we'll talk to who are getting it, like a huge celebrity, like an Oscar award-winning celebrity.
Do you know who it
here.
is?
Don't
No.
say. And we will be here covering it. And James will be talking to everybody, and it's going to be amazing.
I just heard.
Yes,
you mouthed to me.
Just have to go. And also coinciding the next week, a Thursday on VH1, 8 o'clock, is the premiere of season 10 of RuPaul's Drag Race. 10
Can you imagine?
seasons.
Amazing.
And Christina Aguilera, I can say that name, is our special guest star, and she
Fabulous.
is amazing. And Ross is there.
I'm there.
Had you met Christina before?
So please
story.
don't miss RuPaul's Drag Race. Don't miss the Wow Report next week. You're going to want to celebrate RuPaul's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame with us. Until next time, thank you. Until we are together next time, go out and do something that makes the world go wow. Bye.
Well, wait. Now, just for our viewers, not for the radio people, tell us your Christina Aguilera story.
So when I was doing Leno, right? She said we were doing these segments where I would go out with people, and I went on tour with the Goo Goo Dolls and all these things. And so Christina, she had seen this piece where like Gwyneth and I had become friends, and I'd gone to London with Gwyneth.
Oh my God!
And so she was like. She goes, could I? Yeah, I know it's tacky.
No, it's gorgeous. I love it.
It reminds me of all the stuff that you've done.
Yes,
it's tacky to name drop. My best friend Gwyneth Paltrow taught me that. And so, Christina Aguilera reached out and be like, I want to do a piece with Ross, And so I was like, well, can I go? I'll go on tour with you. So I went to Dallas. She was on tour, Justified and Dirty with Justin Timberlake, and. It was all me being like on tour with her backstage, this and that. Then she's out there. She's do American Airlines Theater, right, or Arena, and she's starting to sing "You Are Beautiful," right? And I'm standing in the very front. There's like the stage, then me, and then 30 feet in the crowd. And she sings, and she takes my hand, and she sings the whole song
every day. It's so wonderful.
Oh my God!
Then cut to then. We go afterwards backstage. Great job, great. She goes, we're going to all go out to this club. Do you want to come? I was like, yeah, I want to come. So I go to the club.
Did you wear chaps and red panties like in the Dirty video?
I was actually already wearing that, so I didn't even know I was going to see her, and so it just worked out. And so then I go to the club with her, and we're all hanging out, like up in like I don't like dance into clubs, so it was like this private area we could sit and drink, you know, which is what I like to do. And then she says, we're all going to go to the hotel. Do you want to come to the hotel? I was like, yes. My bedtime is usually about 9:15, 9:30. We were up until 7 in the morning. Nothing, like just like talking. And this,
oh my God.
And then I get in a car and I go to the airport and I go home, right? And I never see her again until
RuPaul's Drag Race
RuPaul's
season 10.
Drag Race.
And did she remember?
Yeah, I think so. She said, great to see you again. So that means
Good for her.
Again.
I was charmed by her.
Yes.
I thought she had so much fun. She came to play. She dressed up. There's a incredible little surprise in Untucked because now RuPaul's Drag Race is 90 minutes and Untucked is 30 minutes. So it's 2 hours of Drag Race on VH1 on mainstream TV.
Amazing.
And Christina Aguilera's in all of it.
Yes.
And Ross is in most of it.
Yeah. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful to be on that show. I'm so grateful to work with you guys, and I'm so grateful you had me here today. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Come back. I know you have better things to do, but come back anytime.
You can bump any one of us off anytime you want.
All you have to do is look for the RuPaul star and then knock on the window, and you'll know we're here.
Now the whole world knows.
I love you, Russ.
We love you.
Thank
Yay.
you.
Yeah.
I love you too, James.
I love you too. Let's go out and march.
Thank you guys
Let's
for
go,
having
let's
me.
go,
I love you
let's
too.
go protest.